Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vanessa. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my April TBR. So my friend Leandra may be doing a little bit of a reset this month, but I'm crazy and I'm not. I'm actually probably going to go more hardcore. Leandra has this very fun TBR game that involves a deck of playing cards. It's called the Cat and Mouse TBR Game. I thought it would be fun to play her TBR game this month. I am probably going to try to be crazy and insane, and I might have an impossible TBR, but you know what? I think that's kind of part of the fun. So if you don't know what Leandra's TBR game is, I am going to link her video for you guys so that you can check it out, because I'm not going to explain the rules in depth here. She does a really great job about doing that herself. So I want to actually just play the game and see what's going to be on my TBR for this month. I do have a good selection of books that I have as like required reads. So I know for sure that I'll get those required reads done because a lot of them are either book club picks or they are buddy reads that I have planned out pages for during the month of April. So I wanted to add a little to my chaos and just add more chaos. Let me explain what I mean by that. So in Leandra's TBR game, what she does is she has a set of books that are the books that she wants to read. I think she's done some different variations with this. I think her most recent one was purchased books. So that was like her selections. And then the house, who she's playing against, the house is kind of like an imaginary entity. The house was, I think, the first go around just other books that she wanted to read, and then the second round it was her NetGalley arcs. So I kind of wanted to do like a little variation of my own where for my choices they're all going to be required reads or buddy reads that I've already planned out, and I have currently 10. I'm also going to be adding 2 surprise ones at the end, so you'll have to stay tuned to see what that is. For me, the house is going to be a NetGalley arc of some sort, which will also be a very random draw for me too. If you didn't know, my NetGalley arcs are kind of out of hand, so I did kind of kill a bunch of trees and put some paper choices in this box here, as you can hear. So I think I've shown this off before. This box is full of just different little paper slips that have all of the NetGalley arcs I currently own, and I think there's like nearly 200 in here. I know, it's really bad. There are a couple that I keep pulled out because I know I'm going to be reading them really soon. I'm going to try to be a lot better about them this year, but these are primarily books that have been on the list for a hot minute. So the house is going to essentially be a random draw from this box. Now my fun part here is I'm going to be doing my choice versus the house, and if the house wins, I have to read both books. If I win, I only have to read my pick. We're gonna see if I have a crazy TBR this month. The first book that I'm going to be putting on my April TBR is the book club pick for Hoes for Pros and for the Tortured Readers book club, because we're actually doing a big old collab event the first weekend of April where we're going to be doing sprints on my channel, Bree's channel, Katy's, and Rainy's. So we're going to be alternating between all of ours. We'll have all of the schedule stuff in both of our Discord so that everyone can join in on the fun, but we're super excited to be reading Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. So let's see what book that the house is going to be putting up. All right, we're gonna go with this one. Dun. Oh, okay, it's actually a relatively newer book called The Thrashers by Julie Soto. I actually met Julie Soto in person. So that's book number 1 for the house. I think what I'm going to try to do is, I don't have either of these books, so you'll see a picture of one on this side and a picture of the other on this side. I'll try to put the card for my selection on this side and the card for the house on this side, but it'll just be sitting behind me. And I'm going to try to do a little bit of a better job at shuffling my cards, and I will just say I did drop them on the floor just a moment ago. You didn't see me do it, but like I dropped them on the floor, so they should be pretty shuffled. But I don't shuffle really well, so don't judge me for this. So Say You'll Remember Me versus the Thrashers. And if I win, like if my number is higher than the house's number, then I only have to read my book. If the house's number is higher than my number, I have to read both books. So let's see what I get. So this is for the house. The house has a 7. My pick is an ace. Wait, I think if I remember correctly, ace is low. I think queen is high and ace is low. I watched your video so many times and I'm like, do I even know the rules? So I think because I got an ace, I have to read both books. So yay, I'm already losing here. I will be reading both Say You'll Remember Me and The Thrashers. I'm gonna read you a little bit about what Say You'll Remember Me is about. There might be no such a thing as a perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. A gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten? Immediately, yes. That is, until Xavier opens his mouth and proves that even sculpted gods can say the absolute wrong thing, like really wrong. Of course, there is nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong. Unless, of course, he can admit he made a mistake. But after one incredible and seemingly endless date, possibly the best in living history, Samantha is forced to admit the truth that her family is in crisis and any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forgive her, to remember their night together as a perfect moment, as crushing as that may be. Only, no amount of distance or time is nearly enough to forget that something between them. And the only thing better than one single perfect memory is to make a life and even a love worth remembering. Ooh. Very excited to read this. I do have an arc of this, but I've been holding off on reading it because it ended up being the book club pick for Hose for Pros. And eventually I found out it was also the April pick for the Tortured Readers book club. So I was like, why don't we just collab? Okay, and then the other book, I also have an arc of, as you may recall. This is a young adult mystery thriller, and it says either you're in or you're out. Welcome to the Thrashers, the elite friend group at New Helvetia High? New Helvetia High? I don't know how to say this. They're everything everyone wants to be. Jody Dillon was never meant to be one of them. Julie and Lucy Page and the infamous Zach Thrasher are rich, sophisticated, and love attention. Jody feels out of place, but Zach's her childhood best friend, so she's in. Then Emily Mills, who desperately wanted to be a Thrasher, dies, and the whispers about the Thrashers begin. As Emily's journal surfaces, detectives close in, and Jody faces an impossible choice: betray her friend or protect herself. But as eerie messages and strange occurrences escalate, it becomes clear Emily isn't done with them yet. A twisty thrill ride of unforgettable drama and suspense that encapsulates the vulnerability of adolescents playing adult games. This sounds like it'll be really fun too, so I'm interested to read it. It's got good ratings so far, so two really good books to start off the month. I'm here for it. All right, and I don't remember what Leandra does with her cards, but I just put mine to the side. Like, I just didn't put them back in the deck. Okay, so the next book that's on my list of required reads is Hold My Girl by Charlene Carr. This is the B&K Book Club pick for April, so that's going to be the choice that I put forth. I'll put that there. I don't know if you can really tell that's the selection, but got my box. This is going to be the house's choice, which is random. So I'm picking this one. This one is an anthology. Okay, I have read one story from this, but it's called Beyond the Bounds of Infinity, and this was already published a while ago, but this shouldn't be too hard to kind of incorporate a story or two here and there. Like, they're really short, so I wouldn't be too disappointed if I had to read this one. So let's see what the house picks. The house got a 9. Okay, 9, so my card, 10. Okay, so I don't have to read Beyond the Bounds of Infinity, but I guess it's there if I wanted to. But yeah, so I just have to read Hold My Girl by Charlene Carr. So I actually don't know too much about this book other than Kelsea chose the book for the month, and it's some sort of literary fiction. So I'm going to read the synopsis kind of briefly. It says, 2 women, 2 eggs, 1 life-changing switch. Catherine finally has it all. She spent her entire life striving for perfection, obsessing over a spotless home, maintaining her pristine reputation, building her perfect family, and her hard work has now paid off. After 7 difficult years of trying and failing to conceive, Catherine gives birth to Rose, her IVF miracle child, and at last has what she's wanted most of all. But one thing isn't quite perfect. Rose's pale skin doesn't match Catherine's complexion, and an irritating doubt begins to grow in Catherine's mind. I'm gonna stop there because I don't want to know the rest. More so because I like to go into my books not knowing and being kind of surprised, but it sounds like it has themes of racial identity, loss, and betrayal. And it says it's an emotional novel that will leave you contemplating what makes a mother. I think I might actually really enjoy this book. So I'm very excited to see what this book is all about. The next book on my list is Connor's Claim by Jolie Vines. This is a book that I'm buddy reading with Alisha from Books and Things with Alisha. So the book that the house is going to be playing go with this. All right, it is Original Sinner by Kate Ballinger. Okay, this was on my spring anticipated releases, so I think this just came out actually. I am excited to read this because I absolutely love the cover. So let's see if I'm going to be reading just Connor's Claim or if I'm going to also be reading Original Sinner. This will be the house's pick. Oh dear. We have a queen. Okay. So. And this will be my pick. Yep. I knew that was coming. All right. So I don't know if I should hold these or not. I'm just going to probably hold them from now on. But we have queen and we have ace. So I have to read both. Okay. So let's see what Connor's Claim is about. So this will fulfill one of my goals that I have every month. So I've already knocked off the book club read. Now I've got to knock off continuing on in a series. So this is actually book 2 in the Body Count series by Jolie Vines. So this one is a dark romance. Second chance, forced proximity. So it does follow Connor, who's one of the guys from the first story. It says the blurb contains spoilers for Aaron's obsession. So maybe I don't want to read this. All you need to know is Connor is one of the guys from the first book. The first book basically is about a hunt where girls get entered into this game and men claim the girls. Yes, in that exact way. It's dark romance, okay? It's a book that you need to check your trigger warnings for, but I liked the first book. It was very interesting to read, and Alisha is very, very excited to read the next one, and she has been patiently waiting for me, so we will be continuing on. The other book that I got was Original Sinner. It's basically about 7 deadly and ultra-rich sins who rule NYC. So we have things like lust running a brothel, sloth is a media streamer, pride, he's more mysterious. You might know him as Lucifer, temptation irresistibly embodied. The paparazzi are dying for some burning hot gossip. So when somebody publishes my scathing but private rant about him, they eat it up. And now my job's on the line. After all, he is my boss. With his vicious sibling vying for his power, Lucifer needs to distract the press. So he reframes my tirade as a lover's spat, demanding I play the devil's fiancé. I need to be a good girl, smile for the cameras, nothing more. But cocky and cruel as he is, his darkness awakens something wicked in me. Sexy and in control, he might just be the cure, an extra dose of sin to heal me from a lifetime of shame and subservience. And I like it. All right, I am quite excited to read this, so let's hopefully have a good month with this one. Next up is another book in a series. It is number 3 in the Body Count series by Jolie Vines called Riordan's Revenge, or it might be Reardon. I think the audiobook says Reardon. So Riordan's Revenge, this is basically another one of the guys that are part of the Skeleton Girls detective agency. I think he's the sister of one of the girls from the first book, if I'm remembering correctly. But it's yet again another masked men, dark romance, suspense, crime, found family. Like, there's that kind of stuff in here. So I'm not gonna read the synopsis because it might be spoiling things. All right, so let's see what that book is going to be put up against. I'm gonna try to pull from the very bottom. All right, I'm going with this one. Ooh, Full Tilt by Emma Scott. How exciting. I'm getting a lot of like newer books coming out. I actually got this as a read now on NetGalley. Let's see if that one is going to be read this month too. So this is for the house. So the house got me an 8 and then I got a 10. So I don't have to read Full Tilt. Okay, well, that's not too bad. I'm sure I'll read it at some point, but okay. Well, moving on. The next book might make some of you really, really excited, but my friend Koda from Your Book Bestie Koda got me a couple of books for my birthday, and the Seriously Series book club is going to be reading this entire series in April. So the first book is God Killer by Hannah Kaner. So this one is my pick. Let's see what the house has for me. Going with this one. Something in the Walls by Daisy Pierce. Alrighty, this is for the house. The house has an 8, and this is my pick. 10. Okay, so let's see what God Killer is all about. Gods are forbidden in the kingdom of Midrin. Formed by human desires and fed by their worship, there are countless gods in the world. But after a great war, the new king outlawed them and now pays God Killers to destroy any who try to rise from the shadows. Kissin makes the living killing gods and enjoys it, but all this changes when she is tasked with helping a young noble whose soul is bonded to a tiny god of white lies. Kissin realizes she can't kill it without ending the girl's life too. Joined by a disillusioned knight on a secret quest, the unlikely group must travel to the ruined city of Blenraden, where the last of the wild gods reside, to each beg a favor. Pursued by assassins and demons, and in the midst of a burgeoning civil war, they will all face a reckoning. Something is rotting at the heart of their world, and they are the only ones who can stop it. Alright, it sounds very, very fun. So the next book that is on the list is Sunbringer, and I'm not going to read the synopsis of this because it will likely spoil God Killer for me. I haven't read the series yet, so we're going to see what's paired up with Sunbringer. Let's pull from this side. Alright, let's go with this one. Ooh, The Love Haters by Catherine Center. How exciting. I love Catherine Center. Let's see what the house has for me. The house draws a 6, and I drew an ace. Alrighty, so I'm going to be reading both books. So like I said, I'm not going to tell you about Sunbringer because I don't want to spoil what God Killer is about, but let's read about The Love Haters. It's a thin line between love and love hating. Katy Vaughn has been burned by love in the past. Now she may be lighting her career on fire. She has 2 choices: wait to get laid off from her job as a video producer, or, at her co-worker Cole's request, take a career-making gig profiling Tom Hutcherson, a Coast Guard rescue swimmer in the Key West. The catch, Katy's not exactly qualified, and she can't swim, but fakes it that she can. Plus, Cole is Hutch's brother, and they don't get along. Next stop, Paradise, but Paradise is messier than it seems. As Katy gets entangled with Hutch, the most scientifically good-looking man she has ever seen, but also a bit of a love hater. Along with his colorful Aunt Rue and his rescue Great Dane, she gets trapped in a lie, or 2. Swim lessons, helicopter flights, conga lines, drinking contests, hurricanes, and stolen kisses ensue, along with chances to tell the truth, to face old fears, and to be truly ... I don't know, it won't let me read the rest. I don't know, it just stops there. Well, I guess I won't know. Well, I will know because I'm going to have to read that book this month. The next book I have is an arc. So the whole reason I'm reading the God Killer series is because I have this arc of Faithbreaker, which I'm again not going to read the synopsis of because I don't want to spoil things for myself. But it's one of my spring anticipated releases, as was The Love Hater. I actually saw a couple of books from the library that I was like, oh, I know I have arcs for those. Let me just check those out because I prefer probably audio first, physical book next, and then ebook last. So I did see Private Rights by Julia Armfield, and I've heard really good things about this, so I want to see if it's going to be a book that I end up reading this month. So here's my cards. Let's see what the house draws. So the house drew a 4. Not looking good for the house. And I drew an 8. So it looks like I don't have to read Private Rights, but will be reading Faithbreaker. Now I will say, I did check the book out, so I don't necessarily want it to go back. I might have some time throughout the month or themed vlogs throughout the month where I might be like trying to read all my library books that I currently have out, or trying to read certain NetGalley ALCs. So it could be something that gets thrown in at some point in the month, so it's not a total waste of me checking it out. Next up, I have an arc that I'm going to be buddy reading with Katy from I Would Rather Be Reading. We're going to be reading Broken Souls and Bone by L.J. Andrews, and the book that I'm pitting against it is another library book that I saw while I was there called The Co-op by Tara DeWitt. This is another arc that I've had on my shelves for a long time, and as you can see, it's already out. So we're gonna see if the Cat and Mouse TBR game is gonna let me read both. All right, so here's the draw for the house. A 3, not looking good, house. And then my draw, an 8. Okay, so again, library books that may get put in a different vlog. Let's see what Broken Souls and Bone is about. All right, so this is a romantasy. Again, another book on my anticipated spring TBR. I guess I'm actually getting to read a lot of my spring TBR, which is great. Lyra intended to live a quiet life to avoid the attention of the magic-obsessed king in the fortress of Stonegate until Rorik Ashwood, the prince's silent guard and rumored killer for the crown, invades her village and uncovers the truth behind the silver scar in her eyes. To save her best friend from death, she's forced to reveal her abilities and is immediately claimed by the crown as the next Melder. To be the king's Melder is to be revered and feared in equal measures. But above all, it is a slow death sentence. Lyra is determined to find a way to free herself and her friends from bondage. First, she must get more information from the silent brooding sentry who first took her captive, Rorik. As Lyra gets closer to Rorik, she soon learns he's nothing like she's assumed, and in fact everything she needs. The more they work as allies, the harder it becomes to ignore the growing passion between them. After a sinister truth is revealed, Rorik and Lyra must choose to stand against all they know or accept their dark destiny. A couple of weeks ago, I put out some feelers on Threads. I did my first thread, and I was like, I really want to feature some indie authors. I want to try to hype up some indie authors a little bit more. So a bunch of them respond to me, which is great. I think I'm going to come out later with a video that features those authors, but this one in particular had the opportunity to read an arc, and I was like, heck yeah, let's go. I'll give it a shot. So this is called Bound by Their Blood. It's by Autumn Hawthorne, and it's a Why Choose Monster romance. So I'll tell you about this one. A lonely human mage, the monsters who want to claim her, the magic that binds them together. A festival of pleasure carries the promise of distraction, and by all the gods, Elodie needs one. Her infuriatingly hot rival Vin stole the apprenticeship, and with it, her only chance at funding her dreams. Ross and Zaishin have sharp but enticing fangs. They are both experts at using them and are willing to distract and share Elodie. For monsters like them, one night with a lush little human isn't enough. They're polar opposites. Ross is bright and warm, like his fang-filled grins, while Zaishin is a dagger wrapped in silk. But both agree they won't let her go. Not when her blood calls to theirs in a rare mate bond that ties them all together, whether Elodie wants it or not. And Vin wasn't happy with just stealing Elodie's apprenticeship. When the draconic monster keeps appearing in her past, she realizes Vin isn't going to stop until they have all of her. If the magic tethering Elodie to these 3 monsters wasn't enough, the cult she thought she escaped years ago is hunting down mages, and she won't be lucky enough to get away a second time. As the cult's deadly shadow spreads across the city, Elodie must figure out, will she open her heart again or finally surrender to the darkness? Now that sounds really good, and I really like the cover of this book, so I'm excited to see if it is actually right up my alley. Okay, so that is the book that I'm putting up. Let's see what the house is putting up. And just draw straight from the middle. So we've got this blue that matches my shirt. Oh, okay. We have a Christmas book. So One Christmas with You by Marie Suggs, or Marie Suggs, I'm not sure. So not really interested in reading Christmas, but I will because it's an arc. So let's see what the fates have decided. So here's the house. A 2. Okay. And a 7. Okay. I got spared from having to read the Christmas book. So we're going to be reading the monster book and not having a Christmas time. And the last book that I'm putting up that I know about is going to be Heart of Frost and Scars by Pam Godwin. This is the 3rd book in the Frozen Fate trilogy, and she's big, okay? She a thickie, but the font is kind of large. So I'm not going to talk about this one because it will spoil things from the 1st and the 2nd book, but all you need to know is that this is a dark romance. The 1st book is insanely dark. I don't think I read a darker book than that yet. Book 2 wasn't as bad. It was more focused on their survival, but book 3, I'm assuming, is like a lot of the aftermath of certain events that transpired in book 2. So this is going to be my pick. So let's see what the house is going to be putting up. All right. Going for the bottom again. Dropped some papers. Okay. So this one is The Threshing Floor by Steph Nelson. I actually don't know what this is about, but let's see if we even need to find out what it's about. So we have the house putting up a jack, and then I got a 5. So let's see what The Threshing Floor is about. Love the cover. Okay, this is a horror thriller, something to do with cults. And let's see, she'll do anything to save her child, even join a cult. When single mom Dallas learns her daughter Cash needs a heart transplant, she gets desperate. There are no guarantees he'll receive a donor heart in time, and even if he does, she can't afford the expensive procedure. Then Dallas meets Shane. He's part of a mysterious group whose leader claims to be able to heal any disease or injury. Dallas is skeptical at first, and the ritual she witnesses makes her uneasy. But when a broken arm gets healed before her eyes, she can't deny the truth, and she wants the same miracle for Cash. As her son's life hangs in the balance, Dallas must decide how far she's willing to go to save him, because the miracles and the secret group come at a steep price. A price that might be too high for even the most devoted mother. All right. So that is a book that I'm going to be reading, along with Heart of Frost and Scars. It's kind of funny how like this one, and I think another one before, had some very similar vibes. Like it was like romantasy, and this one's like dark horror kinds of stuff going on. So fun times. And I've got 2 more books that are going to be on my like required list, the ones that I'm putting up, but I don't know what they are. So if you recall, I have this lovely jar of also some more paper slips, but they correspond to those lovely books that are up there on this shelf. Let's see what books I'll be putting up. And just remember that there are some that say draw again. So let's see what wrapped book I'm going to get first. All right, we have number 9. I think that's 9. Yeah, I don't read 6s like that. So that's 9. So we'll do 9 and 21. Okay, so let me go get books 9 and 21. So I'm back with books 9 and 21, and I think what I'm going to do moving forward is any of these books that I have unwrapped, they're going to get their own little vlogs. So that way it's like more enticing for me to want to read them, but you will see like this little portion of me unwrapping them again. Okay, so I picked numbers 9 and 21, so let's go with 9 first, since I drew that first. And I don't remember what it could be. So let's see what I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be really, really excited to read this. Okay, so we have A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. This is perfect because my friend Leandra actually bought this for me for my birthday last year. So again, thank you, Leandra. I don't know if you remember this, but you asked me if I wanted the large print or the normal print, and I was like, I don't care. Either is fine. My old eyes probably need this. So we have Tia Williams, A Love Song for Ricky Wilde, that's going to be read this month. And let's see what the house is going to be putting up. So I'll pull from the middle again in the bottom. All right, we're going to go with this one. This one is All Secrets Die by Andrew Watts and Dale M. Nelson. I don't know what this is. Probably something I requested on a spree at some point. So let's see if it's going to get read. All right, here is the house's pick, a 6, and my pick, a 7. All right, so I'm not going to read about that book, but let me read to you about a love song for Ricky Wilde. This is obviously a romance, but Ricky Wilde has many talents, but being a Wilde isn't one of them. As the impulsive artistic daughter of a powerful Atlanta dynasty, she's the opposite of her famous socialite sisters. Where they're long-stemmed roses, she's a dandelion. In her bones, Ricky knows that somewhere a different, more exciting life awaits her. When a regal non-agenarian, Miss Della, invites her to rent the bottom floor of her Harlem brownstone, Ricky jumps at the chance for a fresh beginning. She leaves behind her family, wealth, and chaotic romantic decisions to realize her dream of opening a flower shop in New York City. And just beneath the surface of her new neighborhood, the music, stories, and dazzling drama of the Harlem Renaissance still simmers. One evening in February, as the heady, curiously off-season scent of night-blooming jasmine fills the air, Ricky encounters a handsome, deeply mysterious stranger who knocks her world off balance in the most unexpected way. Am I about to cry? Like, this sounds like it's gonna be really like deep and emotional, and like, I haven't read from Tia Williams yet. I know people have told me I really need to. I have a feeling this is gonna hit me like Kennedy Ryan's writing hits me, so I'm excited to find out. Thank you to Leandra for buying this book for me. I so appreciate you and your friendship, and I'm excited to be playing your TBR game this month. Like, when I saw you come out with it, I was like, that looks really fun. It also looks really easy, and I don't have anything planned for April, so let's give it a shot. The other book that I got was number 21, so let's see what I am getting for number 21. I don't know what this is based on the back. All right. Oh, okay. Interesting. So this is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I tried to read this a while ago and just like didn't get around to it. It was on a TBR in the past, obviously, because that's what all those books are. But let's see what this one's about. So it's a astronaut on some sort of mission. So I know it's sci-fi. I have a couple of friends who really like this, including Elizabeth over at Museum Grack Reads. Like, she lives and dies by this book. I don't know if she lives and dies by it, but I know she like really likes it. So Ryland Grace is the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission. And if he fails, humanity and Earth itself will perish. Except that right now, he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. All he knows is that he's been asleep for a very long time, and he's just been awakened to find himself millions of miles from home with nothing but 2 corpses for company. What is going on? His crewmate's dead, his memories fuzzily returning. Ryland realizes that an impossible task now confronts him. Hurtling through space on this tiny ship, he must puzzle out an impossible scientific mystery and conquer an extinction-level threat to our species. And with the clock ticking down and the nearest human being light years away, he's got to do it all alone. Or does he? Holy crap! That sounds scary. Like, I'm self-inserting, and I'm like, holy crap, that sounds really scary. But this sounds really good. And I've been like really interested in space stuff lately because the astronauts that were supposed to be there on the International Space Station for like 4 days or something, but ended up coming back home after like 9 months, like they're like all in the news right now. So this is very intriguing to me right now. So maybe like in the past, it got on my TBR and I wasn't interested in reading it at the moment because it was like right book, wrong time kind of thing, but maybe it's right book, right time now. So I will be reading this one in a vlog. I will be reading these two together in that vlog. So stay tuned on my thoughts. You may see some of the same footage, so, you know, mind your business. Let's see what book is going to be paired with Project Hail Mary. I'm just going to pick from the top. Okay. So from the top. Oh, This Used to Be Us by Renee Carlino. Let's see what the cards have decided. So the house has a 2. Okay. And I also have a 2. Okay. All right. We're gonna face off. So again, the rules are it's just gonna be like redrawing. So the house gets Jack. Oh, great. And I got a 9. So I'm gonna be reading both, but I'm not disappointed. I'm pretty excited to read This Used to Be Us. So let's see what that's about. Okay, so this is a contemporary romance. There are 2 sides to every love story and every breakup. Get ready for an emotional roller coaster of family, marriage, and divorce that will have you both laughing and crying. So after 22 years together, Danielle and Alex are getting a divorce. Once fiercely in love, they can barely stand the sound of each other's voice. Instead of shuttling the kids between 2 broken homes, Alex and Danny decide to share a nesting apartment while swapping days with their 2 teenage boys at the family home. In the apartment, Danny and Alex, on their own, begin to reflect on the last 2 decades, why they fell in love, and why the marriage fell apart. Spectacularly apart. With a newfound space and in time, they are given a chance to rediscover their autonomous selves again. They both get back in the dating pool. Danny finds major success at work as a showrunner on her own TV project, while Alex faces the challenges of a new relationship. Still, they find that they just can't stay away from each other, and somehow the distance allows them to remember, for the first time in years, what each used to love about the other. When a family crisis draws them back into each other's orbit, Danny and Alex are once again put to the test, which leads to a dramatic conclusion that will have listeners weeping. Aww. Looks like that will be another book that I'm going to be reading this month. So let's kind of go through rapid fire and see all the books that I'm going to be reading this month. So I have Say You'll Remember Me. This gets published on April 1st. I have Hold My Girl by Charlene Carr, Connor's Claim, and Riordan's Revenge by Jolie Vines, Godkiller, Sunbringer, and Faithbreaker. And Faithbreaker comes out on April 1st. Broken Souls and Bones, which comes out April 29th. Bound by Their Blood, which comes out May 6th. Heart of Frost and Scars by Pam Godwin. A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. The Thrashers by Julie Soto, which comes out on May 6th. Original Sinner by Kate Ballinger, which already came out on March 25th, so just a couple days ago. The Love Haters by Catherine Center, which comes out May 20th. The Threshing Floor, which came out November 11th, 2024. And This Used to Be Us by Renee Carlino, which also came out last year on July 9th. So I don't have 20 books. It didn't go over 20. But I do have 17 on my list, and I'm very hopeful. I do have a good mix of smaller books and bigger books, so I'm very hopeful that I can get through as many of these books as I can. I can't wait to share my thoughts on them towards the end of April. I can't wait for you guys to see all the little vlogs and things that I have planned coming up. As always, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and watching it. If you've gotten to the end of this video and you have nothing else to say, put some little playing cards or any of the suits of cards, any of those emojis in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button before you go. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!